If you're the person who wants to start a business, but you're too lazy, you keep procrastinating your schoolwork and you keep leaving it to last minute, and you want to go to the gym, but you're not always like you're not consistent, you're not disciplined, but you want to be this person. You want to be this person who's super disciplined, who really consistent in the gym, who never leaves assignments till last minute, who starts that business, and you want to be that person, but your mind keeps sabotaging you. Let's say you're on a weight loss journey and you know you're meant to cut out processed sugars, but for some reason, your mind still allows you to eat junk food. Then I can confidently tell you that this is all to do with your mental health. Most people, especially men, neglect their mental health. But what they don't understand is that mental health is a prerequisite for literally anything. Being disciplined isn't just willpower, it's also mental health. Being not lazy and not being someone who procrastinates comes down to mental health. And I'm making this video because it's been exactly 1 year since I started improving my mental health, and there are a few things that I want to share with you in this video. Now, a year ago, I wrote this down in a book, and I want to share it with you guys before I continue with the video. Now, I did get this from another video, so these aren't completely my words. All right. Why do people get depressed? Because people don't have a purpose and lack meaning. Symptoms: overindulging in instant gratification. Keyword: instant gratification. What is instant gratification? Instant gratification is when you do something that feels good right now. Example: video games, watching TV, eating junk food, scrolling reels or TikTok. These activities make you feel good right now, but makes life worse in the long run. Delayed gratification. So the opposite of instant gratification. Delayed gratification is when you do something that will help you in the long run. Most of the time, something you don't want to do because it's easier to indulge in instant gratification. However, delayed gratification has a better impact on the long run. For example, actually doing your schoolwork, working out, or working on that business. And then the next section is called improving mental health. Most important tool to improving mental health is gratitude. Gratitude is more like a trait or a skill. It's the skill of counting your blessings. For example, in religions, before you eat food, they say a small prayer. They say grace, that they're grateful for something. Gratitude is like the scientific version of happiness, because happiness, as you may know, is kind of a wishy washy emotion. You don't really know when you're going to get happy. Sometimes you're happy for no reason. Sometimes you can't even be happy in situations where you should be happy. Gratitude is where you stop and force your brain to think positive thoughts. An important word or a key word there was force. For a lot of people, thoughts of gratitude aren't normal, and so you almost have to manually implant them, forcibly implant those thoughts of gratitude into your mind. And then the next section is actionable steps. So I wrote actionable step. Pick one person in your contact list. The person you have chosen, send them a text message of gratitude. Send them a couple of sentences, maybe a paragraph, maybe two paragraphs of you saying, quote in quotation marks, I'm grateful for you because of blank. And then you say what you're grateful for, obviously. And just make it as entirely as positive and loving as you can. Before you send them this message, really just think to yourself. So once you pick the person and you have them in mind, think of some happy memories that you have had together with them. Think of some positive things that you've done with them and some positive things that they've done for you and that you've done for them. If you really just did what I just said, you really visualized the happy times you've had with this person and how you're grateful for that, you can't help but smile. You can't help but feel happy about this. And it's so interesting that within just a few seconds, you just put a smile onto your face. So that I wrote in August in 2024. So it's been a year since I written that, and there are a few things that I want to share with you along this year of improving my mental health and how it's affected my life and the progress towards my goals. The first thing that I've learned is mental health is literally the foundation. It's a prerequisite for any sort of success in your life. If you're on self-improvement and you feel like your journey is super slow, you're you're not making as much progress as you want to, you know what you should be doing, but you're still choosing to indulge in instant gratification, it all comes down to your mental health. Now, at the end of this video, I'll also be giving you another actionable step that you can take to drastically improve your mental health. But that's the number one thing. The number one point is understanding that mental health is a prerequisite for literally everything. Now, the second thing is, as I mentioned before, gratitude. Gratitude has honestly got to be the most important thing or the most important factor that has completely changed my mental health. Are you ever around those people who are just super negative, like all the time? And you notice how like they're super draining just to be around them? Like it's super, super draining. They're just super negative. Like their life could be completely fine. Like nothing is wrong with them at all. But they find negatives in literally everything and it's super draining. Well, it's the same thing with yourself. Even if there is something going on and you choose to pick the negative side of it, it's super draining. So implementing gratitude into your life is really important. Something that I used to do was as soon as I wake up, I used to have, it wasn't this book, but it was a similar book like this, like a normal book. And it'd be right next to my bed. So as soon as I wake up, the first thing I would do, I wouldn't go on my phone. The first thing I would do is grab a pencil, and I'd write 3 things that I'm grateful for straight away, first thing in the morning. And that kind of just sets the tone and sets the mood for the rest of the day. Because when you write those 3 things that you're grateful for, you're looking for things to be happy about. You're not looking for things to be sad about. So it instantly sets the baseline for the rest of the day. It instantly sets like, this is the base level. You're not going to go below this level now in terms of how you feel. And that's super good because if you set a base level at a pretty high level, because if you're gratitude, you're looking for things that you're grateful for. So that's a pretty high standard. If you set your daily base standard at a level like that, then you just feel amazing for the rest of the day. Like putting in the work and working towards your goals or going to the gym, doing that assignment, it just makes it so much easier. And also it just improves your entire self-improvement journey altogether because your self-improvement journey in itself feels more effortless and it makes you want to continue your self-improvement journey. And the last thing is understanding that your bad habits that you're indulging in is a symptom of poor mental health. So the last thing I'm going to tell you is always be aware of your symptoms, which is obviously bad habits. If your bad habits start to worsen and you start going back to your bad habits, then it's probably a sign that your mental health is becoming worse. Now, I'm going to give you an actionable step that's going to add on to this point. So this actionable step is you can either do the gratitude one or you can do this one. I recommend if you can do both, might as well just do both. But go on your laptop or even on the notebook as well. At the top, write the date and then you want to write how you feel. Most of the days, you're going to feel pretty good. You're going to feel pretty fine. Just write literally like if you had an anxious thought this morning, like you woke up and you were like, I'm a little bit anxious for this test that's next week. Just write it down and acknowledge it. Because for most of you guys, this will be the first time that you're actually acknowledging your emotion. Because some days you're going to wake up and it's not going to be a positive thing. You're going to write down like you're sad or something. And just writing it down is the first step to actually fixing it because you're acknowledging it so you can then take actionable steps towards it. For example, next time you're meditating, you can focus on that a little bit more. And as you go about your self-improvement journey as well, you can put more emphasis on that specific thing and try to get it resolved as quick as possible. A lot of you guys don't even acknowledge your mental health. And if you're serious about actually achieving your goals and becoming something great, then it's impossible to ignore your mental health. And I noticed that I always preach hard work and discipline and not indulging in instant gratification and etc etc, but I never actually told you guys about the importance of mental health and how that is literally a prerequisite to everything that I preach. So take this video seriously, because you never know, one day maybe your friend is in a not so good state, and maybe you can teach them something that you learned from this video. Share them this video if you want to, or you can just teach them yourself. I hope this video resonated with you and you took a positive message from this video. If you're serious about changing your life, click the first link in the description down below, fill out that form. I do one-on-one coaching where I take you on a completely tailored self-improvement program, and I also teach you my chosen money method, which, if you've seen my videos before, is trading. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.